here we are inside the Auto Trail Imala 615. First we will go to the main control panel and turn the 12 volt on. Once we've done this, you will see that a blue light has appeared next to L for leisure battery. So that's just showing that we are using the leisure battery to run the back end of the motorhome. We are currently also connected to the main supply, so if I now press this, you will see that it's showing that we are fully charged. If I now press V for vehicle, we can now switch over to the vehicle battery, and we're now running the back end of the motorhome on the vehicle battery. This is very handy because we are hooked up to the main supply at the moment. We are now charging the vehicle battery as well. Beneath the 12 volt on and off button, we then have the water pump. So water pump on and off just here. We need the water pump on so we can get water out of the taps, flush the toilet and fill the boiler if it's been drained. And then lastly, this one here lets us know how much fresh water is on board. The switch next to it just operates the awning light. Next we have the sink. The pull-up bank of mains sockets. And then the hob. So we have 3 gas rings and 1 electric hot plate. The electric hot plate just operates on this one here. Red light comes on to let you know it's in operation. And then everything else is gas. So it is just push in, twist, and then press the igniter just over here. There we go. We then have beneath that the grill, and that is same again, just push in, twist and press the igniter. And lastly, the oven. The oven also has a light. Beneath the oven we have the water pump right at the very back, and then also underneath here we have the gas isolation taps. They're all in the on position, and I always say they can really stay like that. Smell gas within the motorhome, always go and turn the gas bottle off. Also in here we have plugs for the hot plate and oven, etc. If we now look up, we have the Omni Vent Fan. To operate this, wind to put the roof vent up, and then we have middle button to turn the unit on, and then you'll see we have arrows out for extraction and arrows in for cooling. Variable fan speed just by pressing the buttons. Do make sure that the roof vent is obviously back down for travel. If we now go into the washroom, we have the shower just here. Do make sure that the shower screen is clipped back for travel. The light switch for in here is just tucked up underneath the storage. we have the basin, and then the Thetford toilet. So bowl does move all around for comfort. To open to the cassette, just on the grey lever here, and then to flush, just back here. With this one, when we press the flush button, it will not flush for the first press, but the fan will begin to spin, and then when we press it again, it will then flush. Level indicator for the cassette just here. If you do not want the fan to spin, you can pause it by pressing this button here. The fan will usually spin for approximately 5 minutes. Next we have the Troom of Fire. If we are going to use the fire on gas, just come to this part here and turn. It will begin to tick, then hold it down, and usually once it stopped ticking, it's a fairly good indication that it's lit. We can peer for the pilot light down here as well, and then back to off again across the 0. The igniter is not hardwired into the 12 volt. It does require a battery, and that is just located at the base of the unit just here. If we want to use the electric element in this fire, we come round to the side of the wardrobe, and you'll see the controls just here. We have an inner dial which just controls the convection, and then we have an outer dial to select the power setting. So we can run it on 1 kilowatt, 500 watts or 2 kilowatts, just dependent on the ampage of the site you're on. Green light comes on to let you know it's in operation. Regardless whether we are running the fire on main supply or gas, this knob here controls the circulation fan that then blows all of the air out of all of your air ducts. So the lower dial turns it on, the top dial controls the fan speed. A will not work in this motorhome. You have to have an additional thermostat added. So we will put it on M for manual. If it's a warm day and you just want to circulate the air without any heat, we can put it onto this one here. If we now go inside the wardrobe, you will see the television aerial. On the back wall just here, we have the digital amplifier on and off just on the top here, and we can control the boost just here. This Vision Plus amplifier has a built-in signal finder, so depending on the colour of the light just here indicates the signal strength. To put the aerial up and down, just undo the collar here. At the moment it's currently up. Do make sure it's down for travel, like so. And then obviously back up again, twist it around to get it into the position that you require. And if we turn the tail at the bottom, we can flip it from being in the horizontal position to the vertical position if you need to do more additional tuning. Next we have the Dometic fridge, on and off on this one here. And then we just pick the power source on these buttons here. So we're currently using mains electricity. If I want to use gas, just press twice. And as you can see, the flame is now highlighted. This will now automatically attempt to fire itself up onto gas. And then the last one is 12 volt maintain for when you're driving. So if I now put it onto this one, you'll see it's now beeping at us, and we have a red warning light just here. Reason being is that the engine is currently not running. This is the warning sound that you will get if it failed to light itself on gas, or if you're running it on main supply and you trip, pull the lead out, etc. Temperature control just on this one here, and then open and close just by pushing down. The microwave just sits above, behaves like most microwaves. It is an eco-friendly one, so you do need to hold the eco button in first just to wake it up. It is a good idea to remove the plate, etc. for travel. Then you have all the normal stuff here, 10 minutes, 1 minute, or you can just do 30 seconds quick start intervals, like so. This is where the microwave is plugged in, and above that is the isolator point for the Truma air conditioning unit. To use the Truma unit, you just need the remote control just here. Press the blue button to turn the unit on, and we're currently in air conditioning mode with a little picture of the snowflake, and then it is just literally plus and minus on here. Fan speed on this one here, and then mode here. So at the moment we're in air conditioning. We can then have it into full auto, so it'll just maintain the temperature you've asked it to, or we can literally just have it on air recirculation. If we slide this bit down here, we can also set timers, etc. We can put it into night mode, so it will all quieten down, like so. And then to turn the unit back off again, just press the blue button. If we now go across, you will see up here we have the regulator for the solar panel. We do not need to do anything with it. It will just smart charge both vehicle and leisure batteries. And then we have the consumer unit just here. So we have the trip switches just here. So we've got the individual MCBs, RCD and test button. And then we have the 12 volt fuses just here, which again, they're all labelled up. On the very top there is the isolator switch to turn the battery charger on and off. Obviously, majority of the time you want it on because you want to be charging your batteries up when you're hooked up to main supply. If we now come down to the front of the bench seat just here, you will see the controls for the boiler on main supply and gas. Easiest way to tell them apart is that you can see that this one here has 230 volt there and EL for electric. So if we're going to heat or hot water up on electric, just come to the rocker switch here, flick it up for hot water at about 50 degrees and flick it down for hot water at about 70 degrees. If you're going to heat your hot water on gas, firstly make sure that you've taken the flue cover off outside, and then very similar to the electric one, we're just flicking up or down depending on the temperature. If it fails to light on gas, a red light will appear just about here. If it's failed, it's then, is there air in the system? Have I run out of gas? Or have I forgotten to take the flue cover off? If we now go actually underneath the bench seat, you will see the Truma boiler just here. To drain the boiler down for winterization, the drain valve is just here. It's in the closed position at the moment. to drain it down, make sure the water pump is turned off, and then flick up like so. To refill the boiler, flick back over like so, fill up the fresh water tank, turn the water pump on, and then it will again begin to reprime the boiler back up. I do always suggest that when you are fully winterizing the van, once you've drained off all of your tanks, that you then also open up all of the taps. That way, if there is a harsh frost, the water will hopefully be forced out of the ends of the taps, forming an icicle instead of expanding in the pipework and splitting it. If you have done this, obviously when you go to refill it back up again, you are going to have a lot of air in the system, so you are going to need to open the taps up. They're going to cough and splutter, etc. Once the water's running freely, then close the taps and then the system will fully prime. Also underneath here we have isolator switch for the hot water on main supply, so if this is turned off it just will not work on mains, so do make sure it's on. And then if we go over the other side, we then have the isolator for the electric element in the heater, so again if that's turned off this will not work up here. Underneath the other bench seat is the location of the leisure battery, so that just sits underneath here. We've got two fuses just here. One is the main 12 volt fuse and the other one is the fuse for the solar panel. This auto trail is fitted with an Avtex television, so it behaves very much like any TV, on and off on this button here. Obviously as you change location it will need to be retuned in, and instead of having to faff around going through the TV setup menu, you can do it very easily just by pressing this orange button here, and it will then take you straight to it. Then it's just a matter of hitting OK and it will then retune. This Avtex TV is fitted with a DVD player as well, and you can also plug a USB into it. Do make sure that it is correctly stowed for travel, so we need to flap it up like so and then turn this part just here, but then also up here, if I just get round just up here, there is another little bit that you need to clip in place to hold it securely.